Next two presenters are Tristan Holm and Thomas Ferreira, and they're going to be talking about their app, which was Shazaam. Now, it's quite interesting to see the two different products that they actually came up with and how they turned out so different from each other. So, Tristan and Thomas, to the stage. Welcome.
Hello everyone, I hope everyone is well. So as you can see, you know who we are. Let us begin. We wanted to push technology away from the classic overwhelmingness that it is today. Your phone at the moment is doing everything for you, and that's not necessarily good. And like I said, it's a bit overwhelming. We then took this and wanted to make something that is emotional, technology that is simpler, so that when your phone breaks, our product breaks, you are unhappy about it, not because it's expensive, but because you had a personal bond with it. We started off by approaching these three apps: Alleviate, Shazaam, and Uber. I'm going to hand over to Tristan to tell you a bit more about the rest of it.
So in the end, we settled on Shazaam. Shazaam takes information from the sound that you record on your phone and then gives you direct information through that, telling you an artist or genre or whatever that is, and then saves it on your phone for you to use later. So we wanted to kind of approach this in quite a different way. We wanted to see how broad we can take this and how far this topic could shoot us out into the world, and then we can swim back and try and find a design within that. We set up ourselves a persona. A persona we used to describe sort of design boundaries. The design boundaries then set us off into a direction. The persona we set up, we said, well, our app is based around music and sound. So let's say, what if you don't have that? What if you can't listen to music? How can you get and experience music? So we settled on the keyword of experience. How do you experience music? What are people's experiences of music? We looked at different ways of interpreting music, sound. So there's listening, there are all the other physical senses that people have for taking it in. And it actually turns out that we do take in music on different ways other than just hearing. You feel music. If you're at a concert, you feel it in your chest. That's a different experience to listening to music through your headphones. Through lots of thinking and exploring and looking at different things and consultations, we settled on looking at exploring sound and experience through color and through sound. So through vibration, the touch, and the physical representation of sound through light.
So I'm going to start off my product introduction with a bit of a scenario. What if you wanted to relive an experience? Something that was dear to you, be it your child's birth, maybe just having a beer with one of your friends at a braai with some light music playing in the background. This spawned the idea, and this came from a good friend of mine who explained to me throughout the day that he smelt something that took him back exactly 10 years to his hometown, where he could exactly place where he was. This power of association is what I used. I didn't go for smell, but I did go for vibration and sound. This later went over into having color, as there are a lot of research has been done on using vibrations and using colors in the same spectrums. Thereby I present to you Vibra. Vibra is a product that allows you to relive an experience. It does this by when you are at a certain place, let's say you're at a concert and you're really having a good ass time, it'll activate with a gentle gesture, being right or left-handed, it doesn't matter. And this will Shazaam a song. It will then interpret it as a vibration and also assign you a color based on other input parameters, be it the temperature, where you are, is it day or night, and you will then associate that good time with that set of vibrations and that color. How do we use Vibra? Like I said, Vibra is activated with a gentle gesture. When you get home and it interprets that same sound, be it the same person's voice you had that good time with, or the same song, it will start rolling on a surface, as well as giving you the same colors that you had on that time. This will then take you back to that moment. Just a brief little talk about how Vibra works on a technical standpoint. Vibra has a PCB with a microphone, 4 LEDs, and a motion sensor which also detects temperature, as well as a GSM card to tell you relatively if you're at home or somewhere else. Please feel free to go to the stand and actually play with Vibra. It does work, and it's quite interesting to feel the tactile feedback that it gives you. I will now be handing over to Tristan, and he'll be telling you a bit about his product.
So when we originally started with the Shazaam idea, I actually thought about the music, right? So that's what it's based around. It's music. Music is the one thing that connects basically every person on this whole planet. If you strip everything away, you have cavemen with music. If you have people on an island in the middle of nowhere and they have had no contact with anybody at all, ever, they have music. So music was kind of my starting point, and I wanted to kind of focus my experience, my design around the music. You don't know what it is like to experience music in a different way, because you've never experienced it. It is something that you only learn about or start to understand when you start reinterpreting things. So from the day that you were born, you did not know how to speak because nobody taught you that. You decoded that. Your brain is very good at doing that. It can take multiple senses, inputs, and then make something, an association out of that. So why would we limit ourselves to listening to music? Why don't we experience music in as many possible ways as we can? Why don't we experience our life in as many possible ways as we can? Instead of putting everything through a phone, something that distracts you, calls for your attention, why don't we just augment the experience? I wanted to design something that was part of you, something that you would forget was there, but miss when it's not. So I developed Bump. Bump is a shoe sole. It sits in your shoe, something you completely forget about. I'm wearing shoes, you're all wearing shoes, but you don't know you're wearing shoe soles. If you tap your foot along to music, Bump will start bumping along to the music. It listens to what's around it, and then transfers that sound into a physical vibration, almost like feeling music at a big stage. Alongside this, Bump also uses something called a little peltier. A peltier heats up and cools down. This reinterprets the key of the music and lets you know what the feeling of the music is. Is it happy music? Is it sad music? What is it? And Bump just augments what is already there. It augments the experience for listening to music. Thank you.